Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the British Hive Mind. Oh, it's not letting me go live on Facebook. Go live. There we go. Now we're going live on Facebook as well. Excellent. So this is going to be a bit of a continuation show from the Daily Chaos. Bit of a change from our normal order, but it's all good fun. All good fun. So we've kept the guests on from the day off, so the Daily Brexit, or whatever we like to call it nowadays. And yeah, we're just going to carry on the conversation. I wasn't privy to the last part of the conversation, so if you guys would like to chirp up. Or has it broken? I think it might have broken. Oh, God damn it. There's gremlins. There's definitely gremlins today. What's going on? What's going on? No, it's not connected. How do I get connected? See, I'm going to have to jump back out and jump back in, but Ollie's not there to host the green room. I could do it. Ah. Technical issues, everybody. Hold with us. Yeah, it's disconnected me. Right. Just having a quick ciggy as well, everybody. It's gone out. Do a Sean Morris and just keep lighting it again and again and again. Oh. Right, I'm going to have to jump off here. Kill that. Reconnect it. Right, hopefully someone will be able to bring me in. Or somebody will be able to be looking on the YouTube to see that I'm here, I'm doing things. But we're having technical difficulties. Yeah, and if anybody wants to come on the live feed on Facebook, I can hopefully get that sorted as well. If anybody does come on. Right. So sorry about this, folks. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. A bit of a delay to the show today, but it's all good. It's all fine. We'll work it out. We'll get there in the end, and there'll be some more truths and more facts, hard-hitting, great journalism coming for you live through YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. Let's see if we can jump back onto this. Jump onto this. Perhaps I'm going to need a cigarette after this. So, yeah, sorry everybody for watching. Sorry. Let's see if anyone's on there. No one's on there. Mm-hmm. Right, so hopefully they might get the message that I'm on a different server and we're going to be coming out on that server instead of the normal server. But, yeah. Take a deep breath. Calm down. Let's not get angry at it. Let's not get angry at this technology. But let's work around it. Let's come to some common ground and a common way. So let's restart the show. Hello, good evening, and welcome everybody to a chaotic episode of the British Hive Mind. An episode that we were going to do in conjunction with the Daily Chaos and keep things going and keep all the guests on. And we tried to do that, and it kind of didn't work. So I've come back onto a different server, and we're going to try and have a little hope for the guests from the Daily Brexit will get the message and come over to this server. Hopefully. But, right. So I'm a bit of odds here, bit of an odds. I'm not sure where to go on the direction of the show. I'm not sure where the Daily Brexit or Daily Chaos left it. So last I heard, there was the news about the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban kicking the scumbag George Soros and all of his colleges, universities, and all his ill-gotten gains out of the country, which is a great step forward and something that Britain needs to do as well. Kick that freaking Gina Miller out of this freaking country. And as well, the little freaking Soros puppet, beautifully funded with £500,000 so she could whinge and complain and try and scupper Brexit or scupper our march for independence. We want our independence, and yeah. So let's have a look back on here. Jump out of here. Jump onto here. Right, is that on there? Is that on there? No, still not there. All right. It's not frozen. It's not frozen. We're still having technical issues. I can't text and type and talk and type and text and type. Yeah, I'm a man. Can't do two things at once. I can't breathe and eat at the same time. Right, so let's just put that there, and you'll probably get a bzz, bzz from the message coming in from there as well. But if anybody watching on the Facebook stream wants to join in, add a comment, or try to join the feed, and we'll bring you in on the show as well. We'll get everybody involved. Funky Thursdays. Right, let's see what reply we get from here. Now a little drink of my water. Nice distilled water. Restart, Discord, and come back on. Right. So let's try and get back onto and hope. Darn gremlins. They're so cute. They're so cute, but you get them wet. Not a good idea. Feed them after midnight. Not a good idea. Hey!
He's dead now. He's dead, but his son his son doesn't want it, but he's the rightful king.
They're both Republicans, aren't they, funnily enough?
Hello, everybody.
Is it Australia they live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. I've been telling this to people for so long. And people are like, oh, no, it isn't. Otherwise, they'd be in there. I was like,
is that the contact?
How powerful these people are? They don't want him in there.
Right. 1 second, everybody. 1 second, everybody. Dave Wolf here, and Dave Wolf is streaming live. So I take it we were talking about the Plantagenet line.
We're going out live, are we?
Yeah, we're going out live on Facebook on the Hive Mind, and we're going out live on the YouTube Hive Mind channel as well. So, hey.
We're on the Hive Mind show now, then.
That's it. That is correct. You're on to the Hive Mind on a funky Thursday where everybody's allowed to join in. Everybody can join in. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm actually on a live on air then.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, everybody, I'm Predator Jeff.
Nom.
To be the Supreme Commander of the United Kingdom very shortly, and I'm going to chuck out the rules. I'm going to chuck out all the Roundheads, the parliamentarians, and I'm going to make Britain great again. There you go. Just introduced myself.
Well, Jeff,
I'm your English patriot. I'm going to be a commander-in-chief of the country, and I'm going to make Britain great again.
Yeah,
well,
but
I'm David Wolf.
Excuse me. Can I be a princess?
Of course you can. Well,
I'm too scared of you. I'm scared of princesses. I'm scared of
And
you.
a tutu. Can I have a tiara and a tutu?
and a unicorn. You can have a
Whatever
unicorn.
you wish.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, as long as the unicorn has got a crown around its throat and it's chained down, then you can have your unicorn.
Wow, that was
Deep.
deep.
Thank you. Well, you are talking to Dave Wolf, who will be the first emperor of the British Empire.
Talk about the babies. Dave,
No,
don't mention
no,
the babies.
No, please don't.
Whatever you do.
David Wolf show then. Who's the host?
It's
Who's
his,
the parasites and who's the host?
Who's the hostess with the mostest?
and the horse that can boss the most roast.
All right, but just don't mention the babies.
I like a good roast dinner, so get in the kitchen and make us a nice some roast potatoes, some roast beef, and some Yorkshire puds, please.
Well, I've already had my fish and chips today, so I'm quite happy. Quite nicely stuffed.
Isn't it Fish and Chip Friday?
Well,
Not Thursday.
Is it Friday today, is it?
no, it's Thursday
No,
today.
yeah, that's just what I mean. It's Thursday. It should be a Friday.
Yeah, I know.
As far as I'm aware.
Well, fish on a Friday.
Customarily speaking, fish is on Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Fishy Friday.
we can all eat what we want when we freaking want, as long as we don't go to extremes.
Just don't mention the
I
babies.
don't eat fish. I don't eat fish. I don't eat any meat.
Yeah, Sherry, we do
I
need.
do that exact what you said, Dave. I eat whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yeah,
I'm a predator, so I don't do vegan food.
but well,
I'm part of the vegan.
well, if anybody on our viewers would like to see our show on food, it's one of our previous shows, and we did a great little number on the food industry and how a lot of food is packed full of poisons nowadays.
Or poison's got a bit of additives of food.
Yeah.
Make me supreme commander of the United Kingdom, and I will pass a law. I will pass a law that any people wanting to come into this country and settle here have to eat a full British English breakfast. That includes sausages and all the bacon. They must eat it all up. They've got to eat the bacon. There's no waste in the bacon.
And the black and white pudding.
And it can't be
I
turkey.
don't eat the black pudding. They can keep the black pudding. That's all right.
Oh, no. Do you know what, Predator? I actually quite enjoyed black pudding when I ate meat.
I love a bit of black pudding.
Wouldn't now.
Love a bit of black pudding.
Oh, you're vegan now, are you?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost,
you're vegan. Good God.
first and foremost, Jeff, listen. First and foremost, it's for my health. Because if I don't, I'll be near enough dead.
Dinosaur state.
So what would happen if you had meat then, Glenn?
I'd have to have my bowel removed after a certain period of time. Like, it's going to have to happen. But I'm biding the time by not eating meat and not consuming other foods that I'm not able to digest or eat anymore as well. But I also don't agree with the meat industry, the production of meat. But I don't agree with production of 99% of the foods and drinks that is thrown in our faces. So I don't actively go out and say, don't eat meat. And I'm not going to tackle a symptom of the problem.
Yep.
We need to get to the root cause. Because if we shut one abattoir down, there's going to be another one open 5 minutes down the road within a matter of fucking hours. So what's the point? The whole process is going to be there again.
The problem I've got is not with me, it's with the actual production of it, same as you. I mean, I think it should be organic, grass-fed livestock, healthy meat, which is actually good for you.
Yeah, and I do agree that we need to have less meat in our diet. I completely agree with that, but on a health basis as well as a moral basis. as well. For one, we just waste a lot of the meat. Let's be honest. Well, I would say 50% of the production of the meat is waste.
And to coincide with that, a lot of our fruit and veg, is going to waste because we're not eating it, because we're eating the meat rather than the veg.
If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? You laddie, stand still. That's a quote off Pink Floyd. I'm pinching that from Pink Floyd. What was that? I can't remember the name of the track now. Oh, I think it's we don't need no education or something.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
We don't need. Songs. Have you guys heard the one Ali, the Ali song from
24 hours I've been living. He's been.
Do you know
what is it?
I can't get it out of my head. I've been singing it all day. I heard it this morning, and then like we just can't stop singing to it. I'm humming it and singing it. Jack's trying to revision for his exams here, and he's like, "Shh! Oh, sorry." It's rather infectious.
It's a great parody, an absolutely stonking parody. Love it.
What I watched the other day that I thought was pretty good. Have you heard of that busking band called Fat Bollard? They did one about the millionaires. Have you heard about?
I have. Yeah, I listened to that one through the from YouTube. I don't know who posted that in our chat. In chat, but yeah, it's brilliant.
PHAT. Spelled PHAT. Quite a good band, that.
Do you know what?
We give our money to millionaires or something, and it says, don't give the money to Primark, they're child labour and all this sort of stuff. Good lyrics, I like it.
Oh, Primark! Do you remember when the factory collapsed in India and they're just trying to brush it under carpet? One of Primark's massive factories in India collapsed and killed a lot of people. And they just, they knew it would be a bad PR stunt, a bad PR thing, so they just kind of swept it under the carpet.
Blimey. Well, they took the mick out of all this on that tune about Primark and Texaco for the next invasion, and what was the other thing they said on the tune? I can't remember, but I thought it was true.
And
do you know what line I like out of the song?
Yeah.
Right, and it's by Daniel Bostock, right?
Oh, Daniel Bostock. Oh, I like him.
He's the one that does the Ali song.
That's right. I've seen that one.
But there's a line in the feminism song or feminist song that he does.
Feminazis, yeah.
Yeah, feminazis, yeah. And it goes on about Islam. Do you know? So the line is, go live in Iran, understand the Quran, where imams take away all your rights.
Take away your law rights or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that's in the Ali song. But in the feminist song, it's imams take away all your rights because it's singing to women. I love that line because it's so bloody true.
Mm.
Yes, indeed.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's very clever.
And I think he's a great.
What I really dislike about religions is they're all bloody oppressive. All of them. I mean, Christianity. I mean, the original Old Testament. I mean, look what the Old Testament God was like. I mean, he was a God of wrath and hate and envy and jealousy and all this sort of stuff. And all these things, it's all the carrot and the stick. It's all control, isn't it? That's all it's about, is control, manipulation and control. That's why I can't stand any religion. I totally, I'm opposed to religions.
Well, why do you...
Anti-theist, mate. Anti-theist is the terminology.
Well,
so I'm an anti-theist, am I? Is that what it is?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless do you believe in God? Do you believe there's a God or creator or a divine?
I'll tell you what, I'm 99% atheist and 1% agnostic, which means I'll sit on the fence. So if something comes along and proves otherwise, then yeah, I might accept or concede that there is a supreme higher intelligence out there. But I'll tell you what, I mean, it is possible there's higher intelligence up there. because there's bugger all intelligence.
You're so right. Lynn,
well,
what do I say about the aliens? What do I say about these UFOs?
Well, that pushes.
If UFOs are real, right, and they're the ones that come and just sit in our sky and then bugger off again. The reason why they bugger off in an instant is because they look down and go,
"Oh, fuck that!
Fuck that! They're stupid."
Well,
toy soldiers, I'm out of here.
Well, with what Jeff was saying, guys, with what Jeff was saying, that does lead us into a conspiracy theory called Project Bluebeam. Do we know of this one?
I've heard of that.
Yes, we know of that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
where they're going to try to either pretend to be God or pretend to be aliens. To try to subvert the world some more.
They are pretending to be God. Look what they're doing with all of our air, our waters, everything. They are playing who they believe to be God.
Genetic engineering, pretending to be God.
Modification.
Guys, I listened to a video today, and it was about 5G. The guy, I don't know him, but he did sound quite informative or knowledgeable. He didn't seem like a crank or somebody that was making it up. But what he was sort of, and basically, it's the end of humanity if what he's saying is true, and he's talking about within 2 years. The bit I don't understand is how the people that are allowing it, because they've got kids too, and families, and...
Yeah, I was just going to say, where they're testing it up in Gateshead is killing off all the small birds like sparrows and things. It's not harming the big birds, but it's harming the small birds, and apparently it's wiping out all the insects as well, and things like that.
I've seen a video in California where there's just loads and loads of dead birds on the floor, loads of little dead birds on the floor.
Yeah.
And we believe it is because of the 5G network they've just put in place there.
Well, apparently it doesn't penetrate as deeply as microwaves, which is what we're currently using. I would say that the microwaves we're currently using are probably worse. But having said that, if the signals penetrate, apparently the signals penetrate only a few millimeters or something, and so it will cause a lot of skin cancers and things.
Well, not only that, you got
different.
The power. The power of it.
It's not comparable. It's not just increasing what we've already got. It's a completely different technology.
Yeah.
Works in a completely different way.
4 megawatts of power.
And
it's much higher power, yes.
And 4 megawatts is the lowest amount of power that they're using in these things. 4 megawatts.
Yeah.
What's running these things? Seriously.
And the
Who's paying for that electric?
They're having to chop down all the trees because the signals won't go through the trees apparently, so they're just they're chopping them all down.
No, it's not the fact. No, it's not the fact it won't go. It's not the fact it won't go through the trees. It's the leaves on the trees when they move and they wave in the wind. That is what causes the breaking signal.
Right. Okay.
So it's not like the tree. It's not the tree stump or the tree's branches. It's its leaves and the way they wiggle in the wind.
I'm happy with 4G. Seriously, I am. I don't want automation, like fully autonomous vehicles running around the show. Let's not have this 5G. There's no need for it. There's actually no need for it.
The vehicles, Glenn, he said that once they're actually fully functional and they've got them all, say that they just said it was completely these automated vehicles and nothing that we have now, no motor engines or anything.
I'm not happy.
It's that bad that you wouldn't even be able to travel. You wouldn't even be able to travel in them.
I'm not happy with 5G or 4G or 3G. I think we ought to go back to blooming CB radios.
Wind up.
Much longer wavelengths.
I tell you what.
Frequency.
Crystal sets, they'll be good.
Yes.
Well, let's move on.
I mean, go back to all these old technologies. Why not? I mean, and as for things like, I mean, do we really need laptops and all this Wi-Fi stuff? Like smart meters. We don't need smart meters. That
definitely don't need smart meters.
I think we ought to get shot of all of that and go back to direct connection. I mean, look at the landlines we've got for phones. I mean, what are phones doing to our society? They're disconnecting us as people, stopping people from talking to each other. Whenever I go out, I mean, I went up the chip shop the other day, going in the chip shop, and there's a bloke there stood with his phone in his hand, just staring at his phone, like, you know, the zombification. Do you know what I mean? The whole of British society has become zombified and disconnected from each other. I would quite happily see mobile phones got rid of the whole bloody lot and just go back to landline.
Well, Jeff, let me come in on this, because it was a couple of months ago now. It was a couple of months ago. I just saw a friend that I'd not seen for a long time, for a good year and a half or so. And walked over, shook his hand and said hello. And then he instantly pulled his phone out of his pocket and starts looking at his phone.
Yeah, I know.
That's how bad it's got.
People have become so addicted to them that they actually become rude when they're dealing with people. Instead of talking to people, they'll just say, oh, hang on, and they'll just get their phone out and start, you know, tapping away on their phone, doing bloody text messages and things like that. And, you know, it's like they're almost become addicted. It's a bloody addiction. It's a sickness.
It really is. It actually really is. Honestly, it is.
It is. It is. They call it screen sickness. Screen sickness, where you're constantly staring at your screen, craving for the dopamine.
Yeah, and then they can't keep it away. They have to take it out of their pocket and look into it. It's like something's compelling them to do it. They can't resist the temptation to take their phone out. And I mean, when they're not using it, they're putting it in their pocket next to their genitals. So that's cooking their genitals and destroying their sperm count and things like that. And people just totally oblivious to what they're doing to their bodies. You know, it's madness to me.
Well,
this is why our population, our indigenous population, is dropping like a rock.
Well, if you saw on UK Column today, there's been a massive increase in death in this country.
Yeah.
Through the not the research, but the actual real life encounters of an undertaker and the undertaking industry.
Right. Well, what I've just posted in the Hall of Crap Mirrors there's a thing about the rise in mortality in England and Wales in the first 7 weeks of 2018. I've just posted it in the Hall of Crap Mirrors.
Yeah.
It's all about how an extra 1 in 7 people or something, I can't remember what it said now, but an extra one person in every 7 people or something have died at the start of 2018 or something like that. So have a look at that by all means. It's something that I think the massive cull has started.
Well, it seems to be quite NHS driven. It seems to be elderly people that are dying of like malnutrition and succumbing to their illnesses because they're not being properly looked after. And I think the government is seeing them as they've spent their usefulness. They're no longer needed in society. It's okay for us to get rid of them.
They're calling for a proper investigation into what's happening, and the health authority is saying, well, no, we're not going to do an investigation into this. But they can't put their finger on what the actual cause is, because the strange thing is, it's not just the elderly that are dying like flies. It's the it's stillborn, well, not stillborn, but infant mortality's gone up massively. Whether that's due to mobile phones or chemtrails or what, who knows what it is, but there's certain groups, even the wealthy are being affected by it apparently, and even they're dying off. But not to the extent. The poor are dying off faster than the wealthy, according to
more of us.
Well, there's more poor people, yeah, so that would make sense, but disproportionately more poor people dying off than wealthy people. But it's affecting all aspects of society. So they're calling for an investigation, and they're not investigating.
That's what I couldn't get over with this 5G, because it's the councils that are all going for it. But they live in the areas, and they've got kids and families, and they're subjecting themselves to it.
Well, how many of these how many people
Mad.
in the councils have done their research, have looked into it properly, and see its detriments? Not many of them. And if they have,
the guy said that they were using the World Health Foundation, quoting them as a reference, saying that it was perfectly safe. And he said he's contacted the World Health Foundation, and that there's no such research been done. There's been no research on it at all anywhere.
Do you mean the WHO, the World Health Organization?
Yeah.
Which is part of the
WHO. Yeah, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them to.
It's part of the UN, is it not?
I was just about to say the very same group from the UN.
Yeah, and the UN depopulation, they've got a depopulation lobby, so they're behind depopulation and everything.
Yeah, it's their agenda, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right. I wouldn't trust the United Nations or the World Health Organization.
But the thing is, these MPs, they're just, everyone that's subjecting us to it are just as susceptible to it as we are. So they must really sincerely only employ really stupid people in these positions.
I think it's all deliberate. I mean, you've got the Food and Drug Administration in America. I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust the WHO or the United Nations for one iota. I wouldn't trust any of them. They're all in it together. Apparently, over 200 leaders worldwide. Is it 200? It's probably less than that, actually, because I think there's only about 208 countries. But a lot of these leaders have signed up to depopulation targets. So that's not population control. You have to understand the difference between population control and depopulation. Because population control is just things like contraceptives. Yeah, that's prevention.
Or like China, having the one-child policy. That's population control.
That's right, but that's preventive. You see,
yeah,
that's population control. But depopulation is removing the existing populace. And how to do that without
part of the Fabians, which is Labour Party, they established a Labour Party. Part of their ethos is to when you become non-productive and you're a burden on society, that you should be euthanized. And that's actually written down in their policy, if you like. So that's Labour for you.
That's truly disgraceful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's truly abysmal.
Wolves in sheep's clothing.
So by that would mean all autistic on every level.
Yes.
All people with
Down syndrome. Anyone
that consumes more than they produce. That's basically how they describe it. If you consume more than you can actually put, you take out of society more than you put in, no good to society, you can go. And that is the Labour Party.
The thing is, of course, that they've made a lot of people ill through all these vaccines and things. And of course, they deindustrialised as well with help from the European Union. We've deindustrialised, so they're into the jobs. So everybody becomes unproductive, so they all have to be bumped off. Great idea.
But that's what they're doing.
Disgraceful, isn't it? Absolutely disgraceful.
Unless we stand up and stop them. Because these morons that we voted in, that are sitting in the Houses of Parliament, they're utter cretins, a lot of them.
Well, what use have they got to society? Put the shoe on the other foot and give them a kick with it.
What did one of the Lords say the other day? When they were debating Brexit, that he thought that, we really do need to bring the people to heel. I thought, you're arrogant.
Yeah.
We people need bringing to heel. What we need is to get our pitchforks, don't we, Jeff?
Indeed, that's what I've been saying. No, I mean,
ultimately, that's the only option, sadly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. And people, you talk to people about it and they go, like Ollie did the other day on the show, you went, but having said that, think about it, it's self-defense. If you know you're at war with an enemy, you've got a right to self-defense.
We're at war. We're at war with the establishment, and they're sitting in Parliament and the House of Lords and Whitehall.
Exactly. We've got a right to self-defense. regardless of
People
what
just don't know yet.
legality says we haven't got the right to self-defense. I say we do. Common law says we do. You know, so
common law says that we are sovereign and we have the right to dispose of Parliament as we see fit.
Well, exactly. Our army should be doing this. Our army is supposed to be there to protect us from enemies, foreign and domestic. Domestic meaning the people that govern us, basically. You know, if we've got a fifth column in there that have infiltrated our government and have replaced all the decent people with all the corrupt ones, then they should be. Our army should be doing that. Well, they should be defending us.
That's what exactly what's happened with the House of Lords. Every decent lord in the House of Lords has been removed and replaced with a political biatch.
That's what the Parliament Act did in 1911, when they basically they castrated the House of Lords effectively.
Well, yes, they made it so the House of Lords could not.
The Queen, they removed royal assent and made the House of Lords impotent or something.
Well, they didn't. They took royal assent for themselves. They didn't remove it.
Queen's meaningless when she's a EU citizen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, contradiction in terms, really, and it being an EU citizen and then running a kingdom,
the head of
which is within that EU citizenship. And it's, I mean, the job of a constitutional monarch.
Oxymoron, in it.
Yeah, they're supposed to protect the constitutional monarch is supposed to protect our constitution, which she's clearly done the opposite by signing all these EU treaties. So she's failed to live up to her contract, her social contract to the people, if you like.
No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say
as well
that.
As coronation oaths.
We you know it's a topic we've touched upon again and time again, which is the subversion of the English Constitution.
Absolutely, by letting all these denizens in to positions of influence and authority
and trust.
Yeah, that is technically an act of treason because it should be indigenous Britons that are in positions of influence within this country.
Yep. And it
preferably people that are trustworthy, squeaky clean, and have got families, so they've got a vested interest in the future of our people. Yeah, that's the way I see it. That's the way it should be done. But of course, what we've got, I mean, look at Theresa May. She's got no kids, so she don't care what happens to the future, does she really?
And I mean, Jeff,
at least Trump,
to be an indigenous Brit takes 10 generations to beat the foreign out of them. That's a quote
from. I've seen a couple of different things about that, either 9 or 10, isn't it? I'm not sure which. I think you might be right.
It is. Yeah. It's fact. It's part of our written constitution.
I mean, that's the way it should be. If you've got, indigenous people in positions of influence and they've got a vested interest in the future because they've got children or, their family, well-known family or community members that have, that's what you want.
Or even if they just love the country. If they love the country, the constitution, everything it stands for, they don't need to have skin in the game. If you get where I'm coming from. As long as, as long as they're a British patriot, I'm fine by that.
It. That's what we need.
Also have a great understanding of the great comprehension of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the people we now need to get into the House of Lords, is the real sort of educated patriots who know the Constitution inside and out and will stand for British culture and stand for Britishness.
One thing I think they should never have done in this country was to take away the people's right to bear arms, because that is fundamental to protecting the people against tyrannous government.
Well,
they've subverted it. They've subverted it.
They haven't, Jeff. It's still there.
Yeah, we still have the right to bear arms.
Like you said. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I meant to say.
Just let me say this.
Or basically just given up their weapons and that's a big mistake. That is a major.
Well, they done legislation, weren't it, to take out certain ammo, and then they done that, and then that was made a gun obsolete. There was no bullets being made for it, so you can get it. And then they done it to other guns as well. And then they just said, no, you can't have nothing, you wankers. We're going to have them all, and we're going to use them on you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just for the defence of the people against tyrannous government, but weapons should be there to defend us as a nation. I mean, did we not in the Second World War have a home guard? Like even elderly people joined the home guard, is it, or the home front, or whatever they called it, to defend us against the Boche. Well, it makes sense. I mean, if everybody in the country's got a weapon, it's going to prevent invasion, isn't it? Do you see what
Why haven't Russia invaded America?
Why?
Why? Because the Americans are to the teeth, aren't they? Every single one of them weapon,
Well,
armed nation is a safe nation.
In my opinion, the world would have been taken over by tyranny if it weren't for the armed people of America. The world would have already fallen into tyranny.
You look at some of the safest, the best nations. Look at Switzerland. Now, Switzerland, they've managed to remain neutral in a lot of wars and things, but all their people are armed. They've all got a weapon, whether it's locked away in a box or whatever, in case of problems like that. I don't know, but I mean, at least they've got the ability to defend themselves, if something happened. And they've got a direct democracy over there as well. So they've actually got a better democratic system than we got in this country. We've got no real democracy whatsoever in this country. All we've got is the illusion of democracy.
And it's becoming blatantly obvious with the whole Brexit debacle.
Exactly. So I think what we need in this country is something like they got in Switzerland. Everybody has a weapon in a locked box just in case it's needed. We should have, so that's our right to bear arms, and then we should have direct democracy where the power is handed back to the people and the people get to make the decision. I mean, in Switzerland, when they turned around and they said that, we're going to join the European Union, the people said no, and they threw it back at them again, and they said no again. And this is why they're not in the European Union. So, because the people said no, they actually listened to the people. They've got to, because they've got a direct democracy. It's not a representative democracy like we got in this, so-called representative democracy, I should say.
Well, not only that, they've also got all the banks there, so they're pretty safe in that respect too.
Yeah. Well,
Well, got that.
The thing is,
international settlements.
The thing is, also
they're armed guards for it, aren't they?
The thing is,
what? Sorry,
they're armed guards for the banks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the thing is, Switzerland has also got a strong gun culture. They never took away their arms, so even the children have been brought up around arms, around guns, and with a respect for them. Whereas what I'd see happening in the UK would be, there's too many idiots. Sad to say it, but there's too many chuffing idiots on the streets of the UK now.
That's why you'd have an NRA, like we kind of have now, but run by the military.
Well, I think we just need a sensible education system where children need to learn respect and have all these tools and things.
As I was going to say,
it's going to take, don't they, Predator?
It's going to take a good couple of generations. It'll take a good couple of generations to get a decent education gun culture in place, where then we can start to look at more of an American style system later on in a few generations. But at this
that's
stage,
all right, because when we take over, we're banning TV.
Oh, I won't ban TV.
Yeah, pull the plug.
TV's not. You're not going to have any of this crappy brainwashing crap. And if it is going to be a TV, there'll be only factual programs, actual factual programs, so people can
dinosaurs.
learn.
It's okay.
Yeah, no dinosaurs. I'm fed up with this dinosaur narrative.
It's okay to have entertainment as well, though.
Yeah, songs, dance.
Yeah, we can Yeah, we can watch Obama and Clinton and Soros and all that in prison. It'd be funny.
Oh, that'd be entertaining.
Yeah. Like
Big Brother.
Yeah, it's like Big Brother. St. Helena.
Yeah, we call it Big Traitors. Big Traitors.
Yeah, the Big Traitors.
We'll make a trailer for it.
We'll just throw all these animals in the Big Brother house together with a few nasty weapons and watch them carve each other up. Yeah, that'd be fun.
No, we're not sadistic like that. We just want to put them through challenges where they've got to eat dog poop and stuff like that, you know. Bush Tucker trials, one of them.
Get me out of here thing where they're all eating Wichita grubs. Just give them Wichita grubs for din-dins or something.
Oh no, we'll just lock them in. We'll lock them all in the Black Forest, so they're all in the Black Forest together.
Oh, Rothschild style.
And then we'll just leave them there, and we'll set up. We'll just hijack their cameras because they've got cameras set up everywhere. I would imagine.
You know what I'd like to do with Tony Blair? I'd like to send him to Iraq to pick up.
You are live, Jeff. Be careful.
I'd like to send him to Iraq and make him spend the rest of his days picking up all this depleted uranium munitions that has contaminated the whole of Iraq. I'd like
yes.
Fitting.
I think that would be poetic justice.
Yeah, that sounds quite fitting. But I don't think it'd survive very long. I think the locals might have something to say about it.
No, because first of all, what he has to do is he has to go to every single house, do a personal apology, right? He has to then spend the whole day as their personal maid or butler. More than maid. Yeah, he probably would.
In his French maid outfit.
Is it Tony spelled Toni? Yeah, that's it. That's how we're going to spell his name now. Toni. Tony Blair.
Tony.
Yeah, and then he has to be their maid for the day of every single person, and then he has to clear up everything, and then he has to do the depleted uranium.
Yeah.
And then by the time that's done, it's finished.
Oh, well, there's got to be a pineapple involved there somewhere. One of our viewers wants to put a pineapple where the sun doesn't shine.
we also need to... we'll have to get David Cameron to work on pig farms to actually attend to instead of molesting them.
I thought of something, Glenn. You can't let Tony go out there on his own. He's going to be lonely.
He's going to be lonely.
No, it's all right. He can go cottaging first.
Send him George W. Bush to keep him company and let him do it.
And
let them live in a little cottage.
Letwin.
They're like cottages.
Oliver Letwin. Yeah. Oliver Letwin has got to join them as well, because Oliver Letwin was Blair's handler, and Oliver Letwin was the one that was pulling the strings.
Yeah, and Dick Cheney as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Anthony Charles Linton Blair. That's his full name, and that's the one he has a allegedly criminal conviction for cottaging under. So when he went into politics and he was going to be pushed forward, they just started calling him Tony Blair so that we wouldn't associate his past conviction with him.
Cottaging.
Yeah.
That's bloody. And another one is Nick Clegg. Do you know that he was involved with arson? Apparently, he was an arsonist.
Well,
he's a get. He's horrible. Ugh.
Why do you think they allowed these people into the positions of power? Oh, sorry,
people.
Sorry, I was going to say, why do you think they allowed these people into the positions of power? Because they had that dirt on them and could make them jump through any hoop they wanted.
And they're psychopaths.
Oh, I understand.
What have they got on Mrs. May? Sorry,
Terry May.
Yeah, Mr. May.
Terry May.
Yeah, Terry, that's the one. Yeah, Terry. Because it has got an Adam's apple. I don't care what you say.
And
it's got a whole lot of stuff it shouldn't have.
Big hands, big
like
feet.
trust.
I've got a picture. She's got an Adam's apple there. I'm sorry.
And her father. And
that's not a real father.
Yeah, that's what I was hinting at. Oh, light's gone down.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, but that wouldn't be her fault, would it? Even if it were.
Well, it's spawn of Satan, literally.
Well,
they all are. All of these elites are spawn of Satan.
I'm just going to make a mug of rosy. Back in a minute, Paul.
All right, mate.
All right.
Two sugars, please, Jeff. 2 sugars.
Black coffee, two sugars, mate.
Actually, can I have chocolate with cream on and chocolate bits, please?
You should be doing this.
Oh, hang on, then go on. What do you want? I'll put the kettle on.
Just joking, darling. Just joking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways,
He's a chauvinist. We love him.
Hey,
I like this is how like the joking goes. Like even unknowingly at some points we joke about like the feminist movements and snowflake movements or whatever. Do you find that we do it unknowingly sometimes?
Well, it's sort of natural, isn't it?
well, they're quite easy open targets to mock.
Yeah, it's a natural instinct, isn't it, to just say things as they are, which might
No, please, we're English.
as being offensive, but please yourself.
Being offensiveness is subjective, not objective.
Indeed.
And it's a very British thing to do as well, is to offend other
You
people.
can't really take offence, can you? I mean, it's our way. Because we laugh at ourselves, don't we?
So I have a black friend, right? And I was speaking to him earlier, and he was like, if a person, like, say me, for instance, right? Say if I called him and I seen him at the same time every day, right? I walked past him and I called him nigger, right? And I know people don't like this, and I'm using it as, I'm not calling someone it, I'm using it to express what I was.
We can
to
use
make a point.
We
yes.
can use any words we want as long as they're in context. As long as it's in the correct context, it's
anyway,
fine.
so he said if someone walked past and said to him every morning and said nigger to him, right, it wouldn't bother him because he knows where he stands. That person clearly doesn't like him, all right? It wouldn't bother him. And he'll just say, he'll go and have his day. I'll go off and have my day. It won't affect me. He goes, I don't understand people's problems. Which is right. It's all subjective.
Yeah. I don't take offence very easily, or a gate. No, I'm not very easily offended. Like you say, if somebody's like really offensive, then they just don't like you, so that's fine. They don't have to like you, do they?
No, it's part of the love of the world. You know, you can't have love without hate. You can't have like without dislike. It's the way it's the way of the universe.
Yeah, but we should be allowed to express ourselves.
Almost definitely.
In any way we choose to. And just because somebody decides that it's offensive shouldn't mean that you shouldn't be able to say it. That's wrong. That's an oppression of my freedoms.
Yep.
Why are their views more important than mine?
Why are their feelings important in any way, shape, or form?
And mine aren't. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody physically, but if it's just name calling, for God's sake, these kids today would not have lasted in the playground in the 60s and 70s, I can tell you.
Or the 90s. Really, they wouldn't have. And I don't understand a lot of, like, even some 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds are actual lefty knobheads, in all honesty. I don't know whether it's their upbringing or whether they're paid for or whether they genuinely feel like that. I really don't know, but there's something wrong or not quite right.
It's the brainwashing.
Well,
they really and truly are brainwashed.
What I see a lot from the lefties is this self-aggrandizement, this self-grandeur. They think that they're somehow better than everyone else.
Yeah, you're right. Delusions of grandeur, that's the one.
Oh, I have many of those.
You're
but...
right, they do.
And you can't speak to
it's,
them.
it's the selfie culture. Me.
Now.
Yeah.
Do you mean selfish culture?
No, because they take selfies all the time. But yeah, I suppose so. You know, because everyone's selfie this and selfie that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're engrossed with themselves.
Yep. And how much they want to prove to everybody else that they're virtuous.
Yeah.
But not proved themselves. Fundamental problem there.
No, they want to say that they're virtuous, but do fuck all. You know,
apart from help to destroy our culture and our lives.
Yeah. They've seen the poisoned tree that we're living under, and they think
vacuous.
Yeah. And they think either chopping the tree down is gonna solve the problems, whereas we're trying to fix the tree, trying to cure the tree, or to give the tree a remedy.
Oh, excuse me. All right, folks, I'm back.
What did you have in the end? Was it good?
I just got myself a nice mug of Rosie Lee.
Oh, no chocolate with whipped cream and sprinkles, no.
No, I'm afraid I'm out of chocolate chip cookies as well.
I'm not coming round your house for a brew then.
They don't last long, I'm afraid, dear. Chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
Weakness for.
Yeah, now you're back, Jeff. We were just talking about the lefties and how they they think that they're better than everyone else.
Well, I don't sort of me personally. I'm a bit of a political atheist, and I'm not really into. I started off a lefty when I was a young man, and then I ended up a righty, I suppose you'd say, and now I'm more of an anarchist. So I'm all for basically people governing their own affairs. If it is down to me, we'd get shot at the bloody lot and be done with it. Just dismantle the entire system, let people live their own lives freely.
Do you believe in the Gadsden flag? Do you believe in the Gadsden snake? Don't tread on me. As long as there's government.
Sorry?
The Gadsden flag, the Gadsden snake, the snake that says "Don't tread on me." Government is to leave us alone. Government's there to, help run and manage things in the background. But as soon as they start to encroach upon our lives, we have to bite them and say, "Don't king tread on me."
Well, I think they've done an abysmal job of their so-called administration, or whatever you call it. I think they've done an absolutely abysmal job of it, and they're continually showing how inept they are, or either that, or they're deliberately subverting this and destroying this country from within. Either way, they need to go.
Well, I think it's become rather obvious now that the elites, the deep state, the politicians, all them corrupt, all them corrupt people are wanting, willing, and able to strip this country of its assets, and they are doing so.
Very good job.
Yeah,
they've done an absolutely amazing bang-up job of that. I mean, what have we got left? The public roads, and that's about it. They've sold everything. I think they're sort of halfway through selling off the NHS, what there is left of it. But apart from that, everything...
More than half.
Well, yeah, apart from that, everything else is gone, more or less.
Yep.
And yet, still paying the taxes for public services we don't have anymore. So,
Yep.
They're getting it both ways, aren't they?
More fool us.
Exactly.
Well, it's come down to, hopefully, our generation waking up and saying, "Hey, enough is enough. We're not having this no more. You cannot rule us."
What taxes are we paying? Seriously, now? I mean, you must be paying like 75% in tax if you put all the taxes back to back. I don't know what it amounts to, but it's one hell of a high figure. I know that.
Well,
yeah,
let's just take
at least that, Jeff. I'm sure.
Well, you take your monthly income, and that gets taxed instantly for your income tax. And then, if we actually did it, where you went to the shop and you bought your things, and showed how much tax you were paying there, and you went to put fuel in your car, and you showed how much tax you were paying there. Yeah, I think a lot more than half of the money that you get after the tax is still spent upon tax.
You've got income tax, national insurance, road tax, VAT tax, which is 20%.
Now something very dragony has happened.
I was going to say, now we're paying bloody jizya tax, which is on halal certificated foods.
Now, I just want to throw this in here now. I want to throw this in here now because something very dragony has happened, and that's the creation of the common law court. I've seen a few little videos and a few little promos about it, and I do recommend everybody does the research upon this because from what I see and what I hear, it's a way to stop paying council tax. So that's £100 a month back in your pocket. Yeah, stand under common law. Don't pay for anything. Wake up, people. You ought to know that, Jeff. You ought to know that, Jeff. So, just reading one of the comments here.
I don't. I mean, I'm mine's paid by council tax benefit anyway, so I don't pay council tax. So,
anyways.
Interesting for people to know how to get out of paying council tax. I think you should do a whole show on that to explain and educate the people how to do that.
It's coming next week. I want one of the proper head honchos of Dragons, maybe even Nathan Kirkton, because he's done a couple of videos on it. Maybe he can come on the show and we can have a proper good eye-opener, awakening on the common law court, how to do it, what it does, what it entails, its pros, its possible cons, etc., etc. Also,
there is one way you can transact without VAT as well. Do you know how that is? Through cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies are decentralized. So if you do transactions through cryptocurrencies, then you wouldn't be paying any VAT at all. So
how would you do that then? Would you say take the VAT off?
However,
because when you go in the shop, the VAT's included in the price, isn't it?
Declare it. So, say for example, you want to sell me a box of chocolate. All you do is you would say, Jeff, send me X amount of whatever cryptocurrency it is, and you just send me the chocolates in the post in exchange. So, I mean, who's going to charge you VAT?
Problem is,
you've produced, say you've knitted a jumper in, hypothetically, you've created your own creativity, and you're selling a line of jumpers or scarves or whatever. All you've got to do is anybody that's interested, just tell them how many Steam you want, or crypto, or Bitcoins, or whatever you're, trading in, and do a private transaction. You've cut out the middleman. There's no middleman.
There's a slight hiccup there if you're doing it from abroad. If you want to buy something from America using cryptocurrency, when it gets shipped into this country, still has to go through our customs. You'll still have to pay VAT.
Well, yeah, there is that. If it has to go through a customs, that's one thing. But within your own nation, you still trade freely.
Yeah. Now,
with VAT through cryptocurrency.
To be honest with you, what we need to do is we need to sort our own fucking proper currency out so we can probably do it and just have it normally. We don't need no cryptocurrency if we've got a proper currency.
Cryptocurrency is a proper currency. It's no less proper than fiat currency.
No,
because it's for one, it's decentralized, so you're not using the central banking system, right?
What
I
meant by that is a cash currency, a physical, a physical coin in your hand that you can go to the shop and spend anywhere you want.
Listen, how many of us actually own a Monopoly set?
No.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah.
We could use that instead.
Well, you could write. Yeah. To be honest with you, you could write the correct words on the Monopoly money, and it will then become money.
To pay the bearer.
It would then become money as part of the.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I'm not 100% sure on it. But I know I think there is actually a conference in Liverpool this weekend with regards to ancient laws. Well, not ancient laws, but really fucking nowadays law. But, you know, proper common law, proper law, proper
I was going to go to that, actually.
Bills and terms of exchange. Yeah. I saw it was something in Liverpool, but it seemed a very sneaky sort of invite. You had to join this group and you had to say what you knew about the laws and things like that. And I was like,
I'm in the group.
Yeah. So I kind of
put it. If you want real money, we ought to go back to silver, because it's got intrinsic value. It's tangible. It's based on its scarcity. It's a proper currency. I don't know if we'd have enough silver in this country to be able to run it as a proper. But if you're talking about hard currency that just anybody can use that hasn't got the internet or any, then silver is the way to do it, or maybe copper or something.
Yeah, I think metals should be more like a currency. Because, you know, if you can
because they'll be coming stealing all your pipes out your house.
No, if you can get some high quality steel, what can you build with that? That's going to be more valuable in the real world terms than a chunk of gold. Because what can you use the gold for? To make a shiny ring? Woo! I can use this lump of steel to make something.
What makes a metal valuable is its scarcity.
Yeah.
If you want something in small amounts of change, I mean, if you had to trade in something that was common like steel, then you'd be carting around great big bloody chunk of steel. Is not really practicable for use as a medium of exchange, is it? So you'd need something that was.
I promised to pay the bearer X amount of steel. I promised to pay the bearer X amount of copper. I promised to pay the bearer X amount of said raw material.
Then you're back to promissory notes, aren't you? Which is what we've got now. So,
yeah, but no, the promissory note doesn't work because it's a promissory note on nothing. You can have £5 of air. Have some nice £5 of dirty air. There you go.
So you're saying use promissory notes, but backed by something tangible like steel.
Yeah.
A pound of steel, like a pound.
Every note has got to have a physical balance of. Every pound has got to have a pound worth of silver.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can't exist. So it's all got a tangible value.
A properly backed fiat currency.
Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be fiat. It'd be new.
But that's how it was, isn't it?
Well, it used to be. But then they chipped away at it and chipped away at it and chipped away at it, and they made alchemy happen. They actually did it. They actually achieved alchemy and turned.
What? Turn base metals into gold.
Turn nothing. Turn paper into gold.
Oh, I see. What with all this sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand and the fractional banking system. The fractional banking system has give them alchemy. Has made them able to invent money.
Yeah, it's not true. That's not true alchemy, though, is it? That's fake alchemy.
But
it's just magic.
On the same sort of terms and the same sort of terminology, it is. It's turning gold, which they have, into paper, and keeping the gold, and giving you the paper, and say, "Ha, there you go, it's a paper." But
it's gone from gold to paper to plastic.
Gold to paper to plastic.
Excuse me. Do you guys like pepper on your coleslaw?
I like black pepper anywhere. White pepper, I can't freaking stand it. Can't stand white pepper.
Of apple.
Apple in it. Yes, good call.
Barbecue burgers or sausages for me, please, or some nice.
Okay, we've got a nice big bowl of coleslaw here now, with apple and raw cabbages. And
you can keep the rabbit food. I'll just stick to the meat because I'm very carnivorous.
Got to eat both.
Stay healthy. Yeah, so you get cancers and crap like that. Got to eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
It
won't fit in the flaming fridge now.
Oh well, you got a spoon. You got a spoon, Andy.
Yeah, a great big wooden one.
While we're live on show, I want to say that we also this year the Predator movie's coming out in this year, 2018 in September, I think, sometime. So I'm looking forward to that. Cool.
Well, it was
scary.
The first movie, spot on, great film. The second movie was just trying to enhance the franchise, and then they went with this Alien versus Predator garbage, in the franchise just went nosedived. Hopefully, maybe Ridley Scott. Maybe Ridley Scott's come back, and he's a very good director, and maybe he can take the bull by the horns and make a decent film.
I think it's supposed to be a bit of a sort of a tribute to the first one, which came out 30 years ago, and that was just the one Predator. So this is going to be, instead of Predator, it's the Predator. So it's just going to be just one of them, apparently, I think. I don't know whether you'll get a nice sort of visit by Arnie Schwarzenegger in it or not. That remains to be seen. Probably somebody else, I would have thought.
Give him a cameo. Give him a little walk on, a little cameo. Or the Predator might have taken Arnie's head and stuck it on a little spike, his little treasure box. That's what Predators do.
Sounds like something Vlad the Impaler would do.
Right. I'll
I've been coughing like a good into that. Is this chemtrail lung what you've got?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've got chemtrail lung. Yeah. You've not got long now, Jeff.
Well, none of us.
But sense of humour. I do apologise.
You might as well die of chemtrail lung.
To be honest with you, by the looks of things, by the sounds of things, none of us have got very long left.
Well, according to Deagle.com,
it's 2 years, I'm afraid, and that's it.
According to Deagle.com, we've got a depopulation of about 64 million down to about 15 million or something by 2025. I might have that wrong, actually. I'm not sure, but the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we get chemtrail lung at some point or another.
A virus is coming soon. A modified flu virus. I think a modified flu virus around September, October. This is my prediction. Modified flu virus, September, October. Lots of people ill. Pandemic. But that's my prediction.
I don't know what happened. I mean, I haven't had colds or viruses or anything. Years and years and years. This winter, I went through. I had a friend passed me a blooming like a respiratory condition. I don't know. It didn't seem like a normal flu because I wasn't sneezing. I didn't have the runny nose. I just had this bloody hack in my chest, yeah. And I did end up with a sore throat, and it went on for must be a month. I had this infection in my lung, about a month at least.
Lots of people had that. Lots of people have reported that. A sort of a dry, raspy cough that's doesn't freaking go away. Yeah.
Yeah, it lasted at least a month, I would say. Something like that. That's it's unlike me to get something like that, but it was like it just ended up like bronchitis or something, you know.
Well, they do say chemtrail lung is quite like bronchitis.
Yeah, what a cheerful thought, isn't it? Not.
Yeah.
Who's disappeared? Oh, that's Glenn's gone for some reason.
Oh well, he's the master on the well. Oh well. But hey, right. I think we might be wrapping it up in a moment's time.
Well, it's been an interesting debate. I'll have to come on here again sometime.
Well,
I enjoy a good banter. We'll have a good banter, as you know.
We might do open mic Thursdays. Open mic Thursday. Wake up others Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday can be sort of focused.
I wake up on the Friday morning and think, what the hell did I say pissed on the mic?
Well, we're still a work in progress. We're still, trying to come up with a good platform, good way to talk to people, good way to spread the word, good way to talk, to debate, to help enlighten and awaken others. And it's going all right so far. It's going all right. So
I think good thing. You got the more different outlets we got of people doing this sort of thing, the better, I reckon. It'd be nice to get. The thing is, we've got so many clever people out there that know so much about all this sort of stuff, and yet most of them are too shy to get on the mic, which is sad. A lot of them suffer from mic shyness. I think that's what we used to call it on CB radio days. They're mic shy. So a lot of people wouldn't go on the mic. They just earwig. You know, we couldn't get more people to come out and, you know, get on shows like this, because I think it'd be a good thing, you know.
Well, that's it. We're always trying to look for new guests, new experts. That's what I'm always trying to look for, is a new expert on something, so I can do a dedicated show upon the NHS or a dedicated show upon 5G. I'm going to be getting a guest on next week with regards to 5G. She knows quite a lot about everything, so hopefully that'll come to pass.
That would be
That's
great.
important. That's a really big threat. That, from what I can
Most
gather,
people don't want to talk to you.
I've studied radio. My personal take on it is, I think in some ways, I think what we've got now is possibly worse than 5G. I don't know, but microwaves penetrate and they heat from the inside out. Like, for example, you get you get a bowl of water and you put it in the microwave. It starts vibrating the atoms around in the water from the center, working its way outwards, yeah? Whereas this 5G will only penetrate a few millimeters into your skin. Apparently, it's because it's so high-powered now, it's going to cause massive amounts of skin cancer and things like that. But I don't know that it's going to penetrate as far as organs, internal organs and things like that.
It can penetrate a concrete wall. It can penetrate a concrete wall.
Can it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
it can penetrate you.
On the test thing, loads of dead cows everywhere.
I mean,
it's going to kill us.
Yeah, but one thing that can prevent radio waves from penetration or to deflect them is metal. So, and that's why they brought out a thing called a Faraday cage, which is like a metal vest. It's like chainmail or something like that. If you were to, you could protect yourself theoretically if you could put a lattice of metal, crisscross metal all the way around your property or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but you need to sort of maybe use Faraday cages and have nothing inside the property that you live in, do you know what I mean, that actually uses 5G. And then you'd probably be quite safe, I would have thought. I don't know.
It's lampposts. Apparently it's on all the lampposts, or they're intending to put it on.
A lot of lampposts. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen something about that.
Outside people's bedroom windows was the reference.
Well, I ain't sticking that outside my place because I'll just tear it down. And if there's a lamppost, I'll saw the bugger off. That's what quite frankly, I don't care. I'll saw the damn thing off.
Well, I would as well, and that's what we should all do.
Well, it's going to get to a point.
We're not having it.
Do you remember when they put up all those speed cameras, Lynn? There was a bloke called Captain Gatso who was going around pulling off the blooming the speed cameras and things like that. They called him Captain Gatso because they were Gatso cameras.
Yeah, that's what we should do. We're not having it. We should like at night, 2 o'clock in the morning with balaclavas and just go and take them all down all over the country. And all these bloody speed cameras, just spray paint, get a ladder and just spray on them. How dare they?
Well, if you've got balaclava on, at least the camera won't be able to determine who you are, will they? So that's a good idea.
That's what you see. I'm thinking ahead here.
That's a good idea.
Well, that's what we should do. The whole country, one night, just go and take them all down and spray all those cameras. And say, right, we're not having that anymore. That's the end of that.
Yeah.
The way they rolled it in incrementally is like the speed cameras we used to have like 30 mile per hour speed limits. Then they brought it down to 20 mile per hour. Now we had one of these mayors. They elected one of these bloody mayors in Bristol where I live, and this mayor, whose name was Ferguson, I think, he brought out these 20 mile per hour speed limits everywhere. Now I'm okay with 20 mile per hour outside, say, schools, for example, like children's schools and that makes sense. That makes good sense to me, yeah. But sticking them everywhere arbitrarily, to me, it's just a way of making money for the corporations like the courts and all this crap. And they've gone way over the top with it. to the point where people are having revoked, ridiculous amount of points on their licenses, and and stupid fines and things. It's just gone beyond the joke, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Caden on the YouTube comments has made a very good point, and I've heard this through InfoWars as well, that with 5G, old school lead-based paint can sort of stop or negate quite a few of the frequencies and quite a few of its damaging badness.
Yeah,
I saw that, but how does that work though? It's just window frames, isn't it, and doors. What about the brickwork and the glass?
Well, if you painted your whole house, painted your whole house in lead-based paint, that's what it's talking about.
Lead actually deflect. Well, don't deflect. It stopped. It cannot be penetrated by radiation, and radio waves are effectively a type of radiation. Yeah, electromagnetic waves, a type of radiation. So lead. This is what I don't understand about, when they put these things up into space, allegedly, because they have to...
I'm glad you said that.
Well, they have to pass through the Van Allen belts and all that, which is bands of radiation.
They can't do it now. Yeah, they can't do it now, but they did it in the 60s. But go on.
That's right. So to prevent radiation, you would have to have something which is a dense metal, i.e. lead, gold, something like that, which is very... which is perfect for bonding against forms of radiation. For example, if you wanted to prevent nuclear radiation, for example, you build your bunker with a layer of lead around it or something like that to prevent radiation penetrating your bunker. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's the three different forms, the three different real types of radiation. That's A, which is atoms being thrown out. There's B, which is electrons being thrown out. And then there's gamma, which is the frequencies, which is frequency waves. Now, it's the gamma.
Well, gamma,
that's the one where...
Gamma is one of the most dangerous ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've studied a little bit about this. And gamma radiation is basically... Our universe is full of it because it is there at the point of the Big Bang, apparently. And it's spread out. This is how they measure the distance of the universe.
Yeah, by the background radiation.
The background radiation which is effectively gamma radiation, yeah? It's the worst form of radiation. It's the most dangerous form of radiation, apparently. And then you've got things like X-rays, which aren't very good for you.
Which is a form of gamma radiation.
Ultraviolet as well from the sun can be particularly damaging as well in high enough amounts. Certain types of UV.
But then
you've got UVA, UVB, and UVC.
Yeah, but they're both on the other side of the spectrum. Because then you go through visible light, and then you go into the microwaves and the radiation we're talking about when it comes to communications radiation.
Yeah, well, at the infrared end of the spectrum, it's not as bad for you as at the ultraviolet end of the spectrum.
Yeah, because once you go past ultraviolet, that's when
the ultraviolet end.
Yeah, when you get past ultraviolet, that's where it gets to the X and gamma. Whereas
you get up onto the higher frequencies, that's right.
At the infrared,
shorter wavelengths. I mean, 5G is millimeter wavelength, I think, or something.
Yeah,
or something ridiculous, or centimeter or millimeter or something. I'm not sure, but it's very, very short wavelength.
But it's still
you go through different bands, like long wave. And then you go medium wave, then short wave, then you go HF, which is high frequency, then VHF, very high frequency, then UHF, which is ultra high frequency, which is what the televisions work on. And then when you get past UHF and that, you're getting into extremely high frequencies, which you've got a very short wavelength. But on the lower ones, like VHF and HF and things like that, you've got a longer wavelength, so you use bigger antennas.
You have to use a bigger antenna because it's blocked easier.
5G is going to be hard to find the antennas with 5G because they're going to be so absolutely minute. Do you see what I'm saying?
They're going to be everywhere. They're going to be everywhere. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Thumb, and they've got them on the lights in, is it Northampton or somewhere where they're testing it?
Gateshead, I think.
It's on all the top of all the lampposts, and they're about 4 inches long.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, they would be very, very small indeed.
Yeah, and you see them. Allegedly. The what's it called? ASOS. system in America. It's like a triangle as a symbol. It's not a triangle, but it's the shape of an inverted uterus. Because 5G also sterilizes.
Right. Actually, microwave mobile phones already do that. You've got them close enough. If you put a mobile phone in your pocket, it's emitting radiation. You know, it pulses, and that can cause problems down there as well.
Oh my God! I've seen this video. I've seen this video on my Instagram where a guy puts a phone down in the middle of a lot of ants.
Yeah.
And the ants are just scurrying around, avoiding it. They're avoiding it, but then it rings, and they all start to circle it. They all start to walk around it in circles, and I was like, "Whoa! Can't teach ants to do that. What's going on there?"
Weird.
Yeah,
that is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely affecting them. But we're gonna have
we've already got the sterilizing effect from mobile phones being in your pockets and laptops. I was going to say laptops because people stick them on their laps, don't they? And that's right by your genital areas. And of course, microwaves cook from the inside out.
Inside out, yeah.
That's pretty bad already. What we've got, and this is why Western. I think one of the reasons why Western white population is in massive decline because of infertility. You know, this is what I feel.
Well, with the 5G, it's more directed at women. The 4G and the mobile phone network, what we have now, is more aimed at male sterilization.
Right.
Whereas the 5G is more aimed at female sterilization as well.
Maybe that's yeah. You could well be right. I think I've heard something like that. So I think it's all just as bad anyway. We need to get rid of all of that and go back to wired connections.
Well,
gotta get rid of the government first.
Yeah,
gotta get to Plan B first.
Yep, it's part of the push to the brave new world we're trying to create.
Yeah, well, it's not just the 5G as well, of course. Then you've got the artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things and the increase in surveillance and everything else. It doesn't bear thinking about. You know?
Yeah, well, we're going to do a full show on this next week, so hopefully I'll be able to get a proper guest on and we'll be able to get some more facts behind the
that'd be good.
The information as well, because I know that the person's been in touch with someone who's studied a lot about this and knows ultimately more than us. So I think I'm going to wrap the show up now. Got up to about an hour and a half. Good time, good length. Yeah, fun Thursdays.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think we might carry it on a fun also open mic Thursdays. So anybody can come on, get involved, get in touch, and we'll have just a
Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Grandma.
Good boy.